Welcome in, everyone. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Jane. Sorry, I had a coughing fit a moment ago. I did. I'm sorry. I received a vision, and it was of Anubis, and I have never had a vision of Anubis before. Normally, I just have visions of animals or places or things like that. So, I didn't really know a lot about Anubis, so I had to look it up to see what was going on. I had already done this reading, honestly, and when I was completely done, it was magical and it was amazing, and in the end, it didn't record. So I did do a video just of, a basic rundown of what the reading was about, but I thought that maybe it was more for me, and that's why the recording, because sometimes Spirit will do that. Like they will block a recording that I've done a reading on, because I think it might have been more of a personal reading. So though I don't believe that it was the case, I just think that I was getting interference because they had actually had me do protection ceremony, a little bit of a ceremony before I even started this reading. So I know that I'm dealing with some heavy, difficult energies around me. And I think that that's what interfered with the recording of the video. So we're just going to go on from there. And I'm going to just, redo this as if it has not been done before. And I am going to post the other one, I think. I don't know. I'll have to review them and then decide from there. But everything basically remains the same as it did in the first round, I guess. So when I had to do some research on me getting the vision of Anubis, because I didn't really know what, it meant or what the message was. So I received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I just realized, okay, so 5 different meanings here. So I'm not really sure exactly how this applies to this reading or if it applies to you or how it applies to you, but I'm just going to start. So I was getting this, it's about profound spiritual support. So it signifies profound end of a life phase, emotional healing, and or spirituality. He's also the guardian of souls, which helps souls navigate the threshold between life and the afterlife. And he's also the symbol of justice and balance. So he's the one like does in the Egyptian gods and goddesses. Yeah. He does the weighing of the heart. So he reflects like the need to confront your actions, your values, and your inner truths. He encourages honesty and alignment with your higher self. And then I was getting the words life review. When I was like writing this down, I was just like, oh, so like when you pass away, we all go through like a life review. So we have to look at, like how we either hurt people unintentionally or intentionally, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we hurt people and it's there's no intention behind it. They're just kind of end up like collateral damage kind of thing. But it's just to, I review all that. And it's not about saying like you're a bad girl or you're a bad boy. It's all about a higher enlightenment and just to kind of give the soul an awareness of how they could have handled things in a different way. It also, that's where they're talking about like weighing that heart, because, some people they'll find out that they hurt somebody or they hurt someone and had no intention, didn't even know that they did. And then they see that in their life review and they're just like, oh, that's probably why I felt so bad and yada, yada, you know what I mean? And then the other one is a connection to your shadow self. So that's where I thought that the last reading was. I thought this was people that were, this is about embodying your buried truths and any repressed emotions. And I thought that's where, people could be in like a hermit mode, like you've been hurt a lot and you're, reevaluating your life. You're rewriting. I was trying to say reevaluate, but it came out rewriting. So you could be like starting a new life. You could be wanting to do things differently from how you've done them in the past. So I think you've gone through a lot of that reviewing to see why, where, how, who, you know, and all of that. Answers a lot of those questions for yourself. And that is your shadow self. That's where you're looking into those depths of your soul that not many of us like to tread and not many of us like to acknowledge about ourselves. So, and then spiritual rebirth, which is Anubis's presence can indicate a spiritual rebirth or return to a life after a period of emotional or mental darkness. So this is where I thought that, you know, you were going through or could be going through a lot of that. And then I was getting a guide helping you return to life, clarity, and your purpose. So I think that you might have wanted to give up in a lot of that, and that but this, he's stepping forward here to try to guide us back into living again. Because I think you might have, like, you know, emotionally shut down, emotionally withdrawn from society in general. You know, like, you know, you could have had people that you trusted and loved and thought they were there for you, and, you know, they were, you know, going to be your ride and die, you know what I mean? And then you find out really they just wanted you to die. You know, they didn't care about how you felt, what you felt, or anything in between. So before I started this reading, they wanted me to bring out this mudra deck, and I was asking them if there was a specific mudra. So I just closed my eyes and they showed me the mudra with the hands together, and it's like lit up, like there's like, it's like chakra lights that run up between the thumb and the forefinger. So I don't know if that's going to come out in this reading, but that's what they had me, that's what they showed me. So that's how I knew to bring up this deck. Okay. Let's see, we're going to start with this here. And then this mudra is something that, you know, you can learn from or practice. Okay. Okay. This is the one, oh my God, this is the one that came out in the last reading. You know, it's funny too, because when I pulled this deck out, the very first, before the first reading, this card was on the very bottom. I shuffled it in and I cut it and brought up this one. So I was clearly pretty close, but something told me to lift up that card. So I'm going to take both of them because I'm not really sure. Like, this kind of gives me this flower of life. You know, the flower of life too is about how you, you know, like it comes from that, you know, that murky, muddy water to get to the surface of the light. Okay, I'm going to set these aside. They'll tell me which one they want me to read after. Okay. Conflict, unrest. You know, in the, okay, this is just a new reading. I'm not going to bother bringing up the last one because if I post it, you can just review it. Okay, Spirit. Do you want to pull them out or do you want me to cut them? Sacred action, divisive focus. Number 17, sacred purpose, eternal flame, ancestral legacy. Opening heart, well, and that's what I was talking about earlier. You want all these cards? So, you know, on the bottom is achievement, effort plus intention. You know, and that's, wasn't that underneath that one? Okay, I'm going to leave that out because that could have some kind of meaning here. You know, this is what I was talking about with Anubis, with this weighing of the heart. opening heart, you know. And then the last reading too, I was talking about how I thought maybe that they were trying to do some kind of heart opening or some kind of chakra balancing, because they showed me the mudra with all the chakras. Sacred action, divisive focus. Okay, eternal flame, ancestral legacy, opening heart, deep connections, water blessings, building your world, creation, expansion, networking, healing earth, the power to give and receive healing, and brilliant beliefs, luminous life force, personal power. Okay, so I'm not really sure where this, oopsie, where this is going here. Let me just throw that back a little. Make a little room. I didn't expect all these cards to come out. I noticed that they have like number 11, number 33, like they have these duplicated numbers here. You know, and they have the snow leopards here, and I don't know if that's just a regular leopard or a snow leopard too. And then they have the white buffalo here. You could be seeing a lot of white animals, maybe. Okay. We're going to pull out, jeez. Energy's really jumpy. You know, I'm looking at this light in her hand, and I was getting the information, you hold the light. Oh, look, segment's back on the bottom again. You know, and it's got another lion. She came out in the last reading too. This is about that, she was talking about like some kind of conflict, like you could be facing some kind of conflict. And I was kind of taking it too as it could be like an internal, because she's the goddess of love and war. So I was taking it as if you have this internal war within yourself. And see, and I was talking about the hermit in the last reading, because, you know, and this is where, like, to me, this is where, like, you're in this, like, cocoon almost, like this hidden, to rebuild your life. Oh, and that's what it said too, because I was trying to use a different word and it came out. Okay, I'm going to keep her out here. Because I think this is an internal battle that you have going on within you. All right, Spirit. Is there another message here from this deck? You know, the cats are all about the sin. You know, he's got his heart here. And is that a feather? I'm not sure what that is. I think you've had your heart ripped out. You know, riches is about your wealth. You know, this kind of reminds me of, you know, the hermit, right? I don't know if he's like part of Anubis. I have to look this one up. There's something in this. I don't know what this card is. Okay, here, let's see. Okay. So it's 40, oh, 42. You know, riches means different things for other people, but it usually does represent like your earthly, let me just double check it though here. Wealth, prosperity, and guard your finances, because she's all about that there could be some kind of conflict that you need to face, or that you are facing. Because, okay, let me just go on with 42. Mistakes, ingratitude, immorality. Yikes. Okay, so when the sin card appears in your reading, you are being asked to check in with your own moral compass. Has your behavior been a good moral standard, or are you indulged, or have you indulged yourself into ways you know to be wrong? Have you maintained an attitude of gratitude, or have you found yourself feeling envious of what others have or the lifestyle they have? Oh, because they brought out the riches here. Okay, so the sin card also comes to caution you to be mindful of your conduct. Bear in mind that mistakes and missteps, however innocent, can be costly. Just like I was talking about, like when you do that life review, you could hurt people and not realize the damage that you're doing. Think before you act, reassess your friendships, and ask if they are good or bad influences on you. Try to avoid anything that is a bad influence, or which tempts you to do things against your better judgment. Heed the gentle message of this card. Demonstrate gratitude and avoid becoming a sinner. You know, this is because this could be like that inner conflict that I was talking about. Like, see, the thing is too, like when people are hurt, when people become hurt by society, by their loved ones, by just the hate in the world, you know, and they go into a low vibrational type energy. And once you go into that low vibrational type energy, it can cause, it can cause, it can cause you to surround yourself with people that are like minded, you know what I mean? Or keeps you stuck with people that are not for your highest good. Okay, so 35, there's something here. What's that? Servant, slave. Oh my God, or a puppet. Oh, here we go. The Shabati isn't a very nice card at all, because it suggests that you are being used by someone. Okay, and this is how the cards come out. So this is how my readings work. So, okay, so we have sacred action, divisive focus. So this talks about how you're having like this inner battle. You have some kind of conflict that's either coming towards you, or you're in that conflict. You have sacred what is that? A sacred purpose, your internal flame, and ancestral legacy. And then it has like the riches comes underneath that. So you could have an ancestral wealth. You know, it might not just be monetary, but you could have like a high spiritual ranking in your family, basically. And if you're going against that with this kind of energy, that's probably not really a good thing here. Okay, so then we have so the Shabati here is talking about like the open heart, deep connections, and water blessings. So if this person, it could be somebody that you have a deep connection with. Oh my God. And I noticed that they're talking about the opening heart, and then this heart is like literally like torn out of someone's chest here. So let's see what else this card says here. So you're being manipulated by somebody here. So you might find yourself in a situation where you feel like a puppet and someone else is pulling the strings. This could be a difficult boss who expects too much work, or for too little pay, or a domineering parent who you just can't please. Whoever it is, this card appears to highlight the fact that someone else is calling all the shots, being controlling, manipulative, or belittling you towards you. Take heed of this card. Okay, because unlike the Shabbat, I don't know, you were not created to exist in service to anyone else. Your sacred purpose, see? Try to identify which person this... Oh, shoot. You are not a slave. Now is the time to begin taking back control of your own life. Try to identify each person this card relates to. Who is it that keeps telling you that you can and what you can and cannot do? Who lets you do all the work and then takes the credit for it? Who behaves in a coercive or controlling manner? Once you have identified that person, put an end to their games by standing up for yourself. You can only be truly enslaved if you allow it. Your heart and mind will always be free. Okay. So this is like building your world. So this is what when I was just having at the very beginning talking about the vision of Anubis, and it was telling me about how you could be like building a new world for yourself. So you're either going through a lot of conflict or you're going to have a lot of See, okay. When you stand up to people, it's going to create conflict for you. There's just no doubt about that. It's going to happen. So, when I was talking earlier and I was saying how, like, if you're abused by people and you're surrounded by them, it pulls your energy down into a lower vibration. And when that happens, you end up mirroring the way they are. You know what I mean? Because you have to lower yourself down to be able to communicate with them. So if you're lowering down your energy to be able to communicate with like a nasty boss or, a significant other or something, it's going to make you extremely unhappy. Okay. So I'm just going to move these over here, but these do go, that's how my cards work. Okay. So yeah, so whoever this person or people, because so many of these cards came out on the top, it makes me feel like there's more than one person. But I mean, when you're vibrating in a low frequency, you're going to be surrounded by people that are also in a low frequency. Yeah, like seeing, I noticed that this says here, like, oh my God, and underneath it, look, it's sacred, and yet another tiger. Wow, spirit. Okay, so the sacred gratitude. And this is where they were talking about here, about one of these cards that I read about, like having some gratitude, right? So it says achievement, effort plus intention. So this is something you have to become very aware of. And when you're dealing with these people, I mean, instead of absorbing that type of energy from them, you can just, yes, okay, thank you, and walk away. And as you walk away, instead of in your head going, oh my God, this, SOB or this, ish type person, you can walk away and say, this person is acting this way because they are so unhealed. This person obviously has like some inner demons that they're working through and they're projecting them. So if you try to change your mindset that way, it will change your frequency from theirs. Now, that's going to bring more conflict. I'm not going to lie. So, be prepared. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else here, Spirit? The Eye of Horus. Oh, another 33. Okay. Okay. So what else? Where else do you want me to go here? This one. Okay, so they're asking me to bring out a couple tarot cards here. So healing earth, the power to give and receive healing. Yeah, and you know, when you're doing that, you're not only going to be like healing, like the attitude that they have towards you, you're also going to be like a step towards healing yourself. You know what I mean? Yep. So we have the Seven of Shells here, which is choice, ambitions. Shells are cups. So Seven of Cups is where you're going through, it's where you have a lot of decisions to make. You don't know which way to go. And then transformation would come out under brilliant beliefs, luminous life force, and personal power. Yes, because that will put you into your... This card doesn't want to... See, look at that. Didn't want to come off the thing. Becoming something new. Exactly, Spirit. So when you go through a transformation, you actually become something new. So this is like this brilliant, the luminous life force here, the personal power. When you go through this transformation and transition, and you're liberated. You become liberated from this energy. You know, I think that you're really struggling. You know, with number 42, and then you have 42 here. So you have the wings of light, and then you have the sin card. So, I mean, you can like totally, you might not even realize, sometimes this stuff is so subtle that you don't realize that it's even happening until you're away from it. Is there another card here? Yeah, well, and on the very bottom is sanctuary, 4 feathers, which is wands, sanctuary and rest. And see here, building your world. You need to, might need to find some kind of sanctuary or some kind of new job or starting a new life of some sort. Yeah, release it, and recovery right underneath the 3. You have the 4 feathers and then the 3 of feathers. So then you have another 40, like 4 and 3, which is like 43 there. Your internal flame. Okay. You know, and moths are drawn to the light. Okay. Let's see what else here. They wanted me to bring out a couple more of these. They want me just to read these pictures here. Oh, Lord. You see how I can get one vision? I don't know if, I mean, I think I might post the other reading just because it's for, and I was saying, I think this is for 2 groups of people, like the reading that the previous reading I was doing, because I had like 5 different options here of what Anubis coming to me could mean. And this is where I think this reading here is about your life, to do some kind of life review, like reflect, and confront your actions, your values, and your inner truths. Like you could be like doing these things and it's like literally ripping your heart out to do them. Okay. Let's see here. Whoa. I wanted to take off and flip upside down. So we have the 2 of Pentacles. And that's a raccoon. It looks like it's stolen an egg. Is that an egg? Yeah, I think that it's trying to carry this egg across this log, going from, see how it's like going from the darkness, from the shadows to the light? And then you have Temperance, exactly, Spirit. You know, this is where you can move that deck out of the way. Oh, let me check the bottom of the deck. Oops. Oh, my goodness. Oh my gosh. And then it also came out with the Death card, which, oh my God, and the Tower underneath. And the Devil. No joke. Page 1, planting those seeds here. Doing it alone. Yeah. Okay, we'll review that in a minute here. Okay, so you see how this lamb and the wolf are both drinking out of the pond? This is, you know, talking about like that healing and, you know, looking at all these past things and realizing like we are all one. You heard change of heart. And then we have the Six of Swords here where you have like, you know, like moving on, you know what I mean? This is about like moving to calmer waters. And you're being, see this bird here? You're being watched over by your ancestors or angels or both. But I have a feeling that the ancestral legacy is watching what you're doing or not doing. But moving away from this conflict, because that's what this sin is, like moving away from this conflict here. And then again, you have the Ten of Swords. So you have the Two of Pentacles coming out on Segmet here. And then you have the Temperance coming out on the Riches, which falls under the ancestral legacy. You have the Swords, which is the Sabati. And then you have the Sin. Shining that light down. Okay. And then we have the Death card, which is your choices. You know, your choice to heal, to receive healing, your ambitions. You know, the Death card, I was in the last reading I did for Anubis here. I was talking about like the turtle here, because the turtle is you know, like the turtle lays like 100 eggs and batches, you know what I mean? But very few of those turtles survive and make it and grow to be full-grown turtles. A lot of them are snatched up by birds and, you know, eaten by the sea and by creatures in the sea. So, you know, turtles have a very hard life trying to navigate the world, not just through the water, but through the land and the air, because they breathe air. They lay eggs on the land, but they live in the sea. So you could resonate with like being an Atlantean or mermaid or of some sort like that. Some type of mystical being. And underneath that was the Tower. This is the transformation. So I think what's going to happen is, you know, I don't think you're going to be given a choice here. I think that this Tower is going to come in. You know, this is what, because the segment here is all about conflict. So I think something's going to come to head. So it's going to, like, there's going to be some kind of like clashes. There's going to be like some head butting or something to that effect going on. And it's going to throw you into a state of transformation. I just heard that. Yep. See, this is all being run up by the devil too. See this Devil card here? See these glowing eyes? But see, going through all that, with the Tower and the Devil here, you know, the Page of Wands is all about, you know, like renewal and planting new seeds and moving forward in a whole different, you know, with building your world, building a new world, a healing earth, a healing you, a healed you. You know, put you into your own personal power. Again, though, it has to be something you want to do, and it's a decisive focus here. Okay, so I'm asking me to bring out a couple of these. Is there anything else you want me to bring out? Okay. What do you want this group to know here? You know, see how she's got her arms crossed here, like she's trying to protect her heart, like she's trying to keep her soul from leaving her body. I think that maybe what could be coming or what has happened, I'm not really sure, because we're all, you know, everybody's in different stages, but I think that something might have come in that was so shocking that you felt like your soul has left your body for a moment. You know what I mean? All right, Spirit, what do you want here? Goddess. Yes, look, you're a goddess. Feminine healing energy. Whoa, this one tried to pop out too. Perseverance. Yeah, you know, and it's funny too, because, oh, look, 33 and 33, the motivation to keep going despite the odds, because when I just decided to go make a cup of tea because I had to take a walk away because I was really annoyed about my previous reading, Anubis reading, and it didn't record because it was like fantastic. Honestly, the way the cards came out, it was just amazing. And, you know, like readings can never be recreate it, you know what I mean? So like when I do a reading, when anyone does a reading, it's a once in a lifetime event. It's not something that can ever be recreated. So I was really annoyed by that, and I'm like, okay, I got to take a break. And I was just like, okay, Spirit, like, what was that all about? And then I just kept getting the word perseverance, and I'm just like, yes, I'm going to redo that, because I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do the reading, but I got to take a break. I'm going to go make a cup of tea. And that's when you know, this perseverance is like, you know, even though you got knocked down, even though that, you know, you're dealing with lower vibrational people, you know, you're surrounded by them probably, you know, people have hurt you and done terrible things to you, you know, but you have to always take accountability for your own actions. You know what I mean? So, you know, like even if you got knocked off your, you know, you could even be thinking, you could be actually thinking about, how like, oh, it's too late for me, you know, I've done these or said these terrible things or done these terrible things, or, you know, like my thought process or whatever. It doesn't matter, because you know what, we're all here to learn. So you just need to like accept what you did, or accept how you've treated someone, or you know, and then just kind of like gather everything back together again, like pull yourself together basically, and persevere, just keep moving forward, because it's not going to be held against you in the afterlife, I guess. It's not going to be, you know, they're not going to be like, nobody's going to be wagging a finger and being like, oh, you could have and you should have and this and that. No, that's not how it goes. It's, you know, we're all here to learn. So, you know, if you've been through a lot of hard things in your life, you've had a lot of terrible things happen to you, you know, like it's hard to get your mind out of that kind of mindset, but you know, it's important to persevere and just, you know, like with this sinner card, like, you know, you don't have, because your heart's been ripped out, you don't have to rip out anyone else's. You know what I mean? So this goddess here, you know, the healing feminine energy, you know, the world has been run by masculine energy for a really long time. And it's time for the feminine energy to come in and start doing the healing. And that's the healing in the women and in the men. This is a healing for the earth too. It's for everyone. It's for the good of all. Okay? You know, And then with the perseverance here, okay, so the motivation to keep going despite the odds. So no matter how you've been treated or why you've been treated the way you've been treated, you know, you can't allow the external forces of the world to dictate what's in your heart. You know what I mean? So put it on perseverance, opening your heart, deep connections, water blessings. Like, it's up to you. Okay? It's always up to you. Okay, so I'm going to put these here because you are a goddess. You're a sacred, you have sacred action here and sacred purpose. Oh yeah, I just realized that. Sacred and sacred. And then goddess comes out on them. And then you have the opening heart and building your world comes out with perseverance. And on the bottom is the air element. And it's work with the element of air to see the truth. So you have brilliant beliefs and healing is here. Okay. Look, and on the bottom is on target. You are following your ideal life path. Exactly. Like, you know, just because like you've been mistreated or you're dealing with like sinners or whatever, that's, you know, making you do that sinning too. You could break from that, but you know, so I think it's going to happen anyway because of the Tower card here with the devil. So the devil might have been ruling your energy with the people that are around you, like, because the devil is about keeping you shackled to the matrix, right? The devil is about chaining you to the same grind that you're always doing to keep you from moving forward. So I think that's where it's segment here, because there's a lot, there's like a conflict that's going to come. Or you're going through the conflict now. Okay, what else, Mary? Okay, so they want me to, I don't know if they want me to read both of these. This card is basically, you can hold your hands this way, do a meditation, and use the fire element, because she's a fire element. And, you know, and you know, air feeds fire, you know what I mean? Without air, you wouldn't be able to have a fire element. So once you start embracing your truth, once you start embracing that, your life is going to shift here. So this goddess here is about, you know, like using this, you know, like visualize this flame to come and remove negative thoughts, negative patterns. I'm going to do a quick little read on it because I want to make sure that I'm getting it right. Linga, Mudra. She's the fire of resilience. Exactly, with the perseverance. It makes sense. Okay. So Shiva the god, yep, 5 element. The fire element removes toxins and aids circulation, warming immunity, and balances masculine and feminine energy. So I think you might have been living in your masculine energy a lot, because there's some kind of healing feminine energy that needs to happen here so that you have that balance. And you notice how they had me, so the cards, the way they have the cards here, so it's, you know, like it's all balanced out. Okay, so spiritually speaking, this card is letting you know you are stronger than you think. Practice this mudra to bring heat into the body and cleanse yourself of impurities and toxins. Visualize a fire burning away everything that no longer serves you: poor health, low self-esteem, negative patterns of thought or behavior. Linga helps you to build strength, clarity, and immunity, and shore up resilience to face life with optimism, energy, and zest. This mudra is a sign that you are being called to shift your perspective on your current situation. You are encouraged to see your life as the beautiful gift it is and move forward with a new spring in your step. And you'll see this here, it's not going to be just, you know, a new spring in your step. I mean, she is like, this is going to be something that's going to coming fast and swift, becoming something new. You know, and I know it could be scary, like leaving a toxic work environment or a relationship. I know it could be really scary at first, but, you know, like you have like your ancestors are going to help guide you so that you're not without. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so this here, like when you're doing this, you know, go into a meditation or prayer even. Hold your hands this way, and it says, affirm these words here. The flame at my center, well, see the center of her heart there, burns bright and clear. I am strong. I am powerful. And here you have personal power. All right, so let's see what this... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word, but there it is. Flower offering, giving and receiving, acceptance, openness, patience, and divine timing. Look at that. So this card here, it's like the power to give and receive healing. So this is about giving and receiving. Wow. Okay, let's see what it says here. Ah, there's even a thing here from the Bible. Okay. Is there a connection between helping others fulfill their greatest potential and making your own dreams a reality? Pusha Papuda, I don't know if that's right, Mudra has entered your reading today, reminding you to have a great esoteric principle. When you give with all your heart, you open yourself up to what may also be given to you. And see, they have opening heart here, and then here with the sinner card, the heart's been ripped out. So I think that whoever the sinner was has ripped your heart out and has left you void of a lot of emotions. And I think this is why it's so important for you to like remove yourself from these negative type people, because when you're around these, like I said previous, these negative people, they can draw you back, they can draw you down, they can pull your energy, they pull on your energy and pull you into like doing sinning yourself, you know what I mean? Because you know, this devil, they can't do it alone. Like if you're like a sacred goddess, which I believe this is what's going on here, or God, if you're a sacred goddess or God and you need the feminine healing energy, this devil cannot do that alone. It has to use others in your life to get its way. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. So when you see a flower, let it be a reminder to you. It opens selflessly and naturally in its own time. Nurture your seed. Oh, where's that card? Look. I told you about planting the seeds. Nurture your seed of possibility for the benefit of all and leave the rest to divine timing. Have faith that something special is about to blossom in your life, but first, know you are called to see beyond your own needs and concerns. Trust that the universe has your back. Be patient. You are a part of the sacred and divine order of all things. And lo, they even have like the sacred action and sacred purpose. And, you know, and here, like, you know, with the Six of Swords, this is you like moving away from this energy. They want you to move away from it. And you're always going to have them watching you. You might not see or understand that they're there, but they're there nonetheless. Okay. So be patient. You are part of the sacred and divine order of all things. See how she's even holding, you know, her arms are in a complete circle? Because we're all one. Yeah? Okay. In an open and quiet inner place, ask your higher self if it's time to act. And look, see right here? Let go of your fearful, narrow self and its whisperings. Make space for a new way forwards. Put flowers on your altar or in a vase in your home as an offering to the sacred unfurling. Let the natural world around you be your inspiration. Open and allow for divine unfolding. And this is like, give and you will receive. This is from Luke 6. I think it says, I think that means verse 38. I don't know. And then when you have this mudra with your hand open, you can do this. Well, instead of having your arms crossed like this, have your hands open and affirm these words here. I open to give. I open to receive. My hands full of flowers. I breathe deeply in their scent. Transport it to heavenly realms of possibilities. Wow. Okay. I guess that's that. Yeah. So, like no matter what the storms, you know what I mean? Like, you have to do this alone. And you might have to fight through the storms. You might have to, go through all the darkness to find the light. But you have this King of Swords here, right? And see how he's diving? He's diving deep. He's diving down. And then you have the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords is all about that pain and the suffering. Feeling all alone. And nowhere to go. You might feel like you're, this is talking a lot about your heart. Like here with open heart, and then here with the heart missing, and then, the Three of Swords again. All this, your heart is like been shambled. You know what I mean? It's all been broken up. You might feel like you're completely alone here, but, a polar bear is a very powerful animal. You have they're going to swoop in. So this is telling me that when you get into too much trouble or you're, really struggling, your ancestors are going to be here. They're going to swoop in and they're going to help you. They're going to help guide you through this. See this? Like, you might feel like you're completely alone here, but you're going to have, and you're fighting through all this darkness and storms and turmoil and conflict, like Segmet here. But your ancestors are here. They're going to swoop in. And, they're going to throw you a life ring. They're going to throw you a life raft. They're going to throw you, have a boat show up. You know what I'm saying? You might feel like you're just, your heart has just been like torn apart. That's what life does to us. You know what I mean? It tears us apart, but we have to build ourselves back up. So this is what build your world. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Spirit. This has been really deep, and thank you, Anubis, for bringing this message to all of us, because we can all learn from it. And I'm going to send you all my love and light, and I hope this video finds you well. And, just keep persevering, and, just kick butt, really. So with that, I'm going to bid you a good day. Bye, everyone.